Narito ang mga pangunahing balita ngayong gabi tungkol sa global citizenship at sa Safe School Declaration. Milyong-milyong bata sa Syria at iba pang conflict zones ang nawalan ng akses sa edukasyon dahil sa pagkasira ng kanilang mga paaralan.
The classrooms are overcrowded, but these students say they are happy to be here. Many of them haven't been to school for years because of the war. They also know that thousands of young Syrians are not as lucky and don't have a school to go to.
Pumirma ang United Kingdom bilang ika-74 na bansa sa Safe School Declaration matapos ang malakas na pananawagan ng mga estudyante at global citizens. Mga international organizations gaya ng Global Citizens, Save the Children at Malala Fund ang patuloy na nagkakampanya para gawing ligtas ang mga paaralan sa buong mundo. Alamin ang kahulugan ng pagiging global citizenship. Tignan natin kung pumirma ang Pilipinas sa deklarasyong ito at paano tayo bilang kabataan makakagawa ng pagbabago. Nakatutok kami, Group 5 News Report. At para sa unang detalye, narito si Capicio.
Ang Safe Schools Declaration ay inilungsad sa Oslo noong May 2015. Pinangunahan ito ng Norway at Argentina. Ang layunin nito ay pigilan ang paggamit ng schools bilang military bases at protektahan ang mga bata laban sa pag-atake. Hindi lang ito basta statement, kundi may guidelines din ito para sa government kung paano dapat i-handle ang mga schools during conflict. For example, dapat alisin ang mga military checkpoints sa paligid ng school at dapat siguraduhin na ang mga bata ay may access sa classrooms. Simula noon, higit 100 countries na ang pumirma. Ibig sabihin, global commitment talaga na ang edukasyon ay hindi dapat maging casualty ng war, kundi karapatan na dapat ipaglaban. At bawat bansa na pumipirma, naglalagay ng pressure sa iba pang states na sumusunod. Kung iisipin natin, ang declaration na ito ay parang shield. Hindi literal na shield, pero isang pangako na ang schools ay hindi dapat maging battlefield.
Maraming salamat, Capicio. Matapos nating marinig ang pinagmulan ng deklarasyon, tignan naman natin kung paano tumugon ang United Kingdom. Nakatutok live si Nicolas. Nicolas?
So, good day everyone. Noong April 2018, naging 75th signatory ang United Kingdom. The interesting part is, hindi lang ang gobyerno ang nag-push para dito. May petisyon na pinirmahan ang higit sa 25,000 na estudyante mula sa 932 na paaralan. Isipin nyo, mga estudyante pa mismo ang nag-organisa, kumulekta ng mga pirma, at dahil sa collective voice ng kabataan, napilitan ng mga namumuno na kumilos. Within just 48 hours, pumirma ang UK. Proof ito na kahit estudyante may kapangyarihan sa influence na global policy. At hindi lang ito ang symbolic. Kapag pumirma ang isang bansa, they commit to condemn attacks on schools, protect education during armed conflict, and provide supervision and services para sa mga bata. So ang UK commitment is a reminder na global citizenship isn't just about leaders. It's about us, the people. Kung kaya ng mga estudyante sa UK, kaya rin natin.
Maraming salamat, Nicolas. Malinaw na malakas ang boses ng kabataan sa UK. Pero sa mga lugar na may giyera, ibang kwento ang naririnig. Mula sa Syria, nakatutok live si Carl. Carl?
Sa Syria naman tayo, classrooms have turned into ruins, more than a third of the schools is destroyed. Nearly 2 million children are out of class, and 600,000 displaced kids na hindi nakapasok. Isipin nyo na lang, dapat na nag-aaral sila ng math or science, pero instead they are worried about their survival. Some schools are overcrowded, but others stripped bare of their desks and books. Teachers are busy, and students are forced to study in unsafe buildings. Globally, 246 million children experience school violence. That is not just statistics. That is, imagine, 246 million dreams interrupted. The Safety Schools Declaration is a vital because it addresses the overlooked consequences of war, the destruction of learning. Without education, children cannot rebuild their war-torn communities. Kaya sobrang crucial ng Safety School Declaration. It's not just about protecting the buildings, it's about protecting the future. Back into you, my partner.
Maraming salamat, Carl. Dahil sa matinding epekto ng gyera, kumikilos ang iba't ibang organisasyon para ipaglaban ang karapatan ng mga bata. Narito ang ulat mula kay Cepeda. Cepeda?
Organizations like Global Citizen, Save the Children, the Malalapan, and Human Rights Watch are stepping in. Sila ang nag-campaign, nag-petition at nag-pressure sa government. For example, Global Citizen and partners like Send My Friend to School were crucial in convincing the UK to sign. They organize events, petition, and even media campaigns para ipakita na edukasyon is worth fighting for. These groups remind us that global citizen is not just a concept. It is action. They show us na kapag nag-unite ang mga tao for a cause, governments listen. Kung wala ang mga organisasyon na ito, baka hindi pa rin pumirama ang UK. Kaya importante ang civil society at NGOs sa global issues.
Maraming salamat, Cepeda. Kung may mga organisasyon na kumikilos, mahalaga ring maintindihan ang mas malawak na konsepto ng pagiging mamamayan ng mundo. At nakatutok live si Manuel.
Global citizenship means responsibility beyond borders. Hindi lang tayo dapat concerned sa sariling community natin, pero pati sa mga bata sa Syria, Nigeria, or anywhere na threatened ang education. It is solidarity, action, and caring about kids anywhere. Global citizenship is mindset and practice. Halimbawa, kapag nag-sign tayo ng petitions, nag-share ng awareness online, or nag-volunteer sa campaigns, that's already practicing global citizenship. Hindi kailangan maging politiko para makagawa ng difference. Global citizenship is about realizing that we are connected and that protecting education anywhere helps build a better world everywhere.
Maraming salamat, Manuel. Global citizenship is about responsibility beyond borders. Pero hindi lang individuals ang kumikilos. May civil society networks na tumutulong para bantayan ang gobyerno. Nakatutok live si Fabros.
Civil society refers to networks of people and organizations outside the government. Amnesty International, Oxfam, and Greenpeace are the examples. They fight oppression, promote solidarity, and remind us that ordinary citizens can challenge governments and protect freedoms. That's why civil society has become central to democratization and human rights. Global civil society is proof that people united can change the world. At kung titingnan natin, civil society is like the backbone of global citizenship. Without these groups, walang mag-check sa mga governments, walang mag-voice out ng abuses. Kaya sila ang tunay na watchdogs ng democracy and human rights.
Maraming salamat, Fabros. Civil society ang nagsisilbing watchdog ng demokrasya. At bahagi nito ang mga human rights campaign na tumutulong protektahan ang dignidad ng tao. Mula sa usaping karapatang pantao, nakatutok live si Prince.
Human rights campaigns are built on the principle of universal equality. Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch monitor abuses worldwide, call out governments and protect individuals. They investigate, publish reports, and mobilize millions of activists. Their work show us na global citizenship is not a passive, it's active resistance against injustice. when we talk about protecting schools, we're also talking about protecting human dignity. Every child has right to learn without fear. And then, that's the essence of global citizenship.
As an Amnesty International researcher, it has been overwhelming to analyze crackdowns on peaceful protests by authorities in Sri Lanka and across South Asia.
This year was a year of earthquakes, starting from Syria and Turkey, then later Libya, but perhaps the biggest earthquake of all was what we've been witnessing in Gaza.
Together with my colleagues, we have documented numerous human rights violations against civilians, including mass casualties, torture, rape, extrajudicial executions, and the suppression of freedom of expression.
Here in Europe, it was one of the most dramatic years for migrants and refugees' rights. My team and I documented one of the most deadly tragedies ever happened in the Mediterranean.
There has been an incredible backlash against gender rights. And nowhere is that more clear in the United States than the example of the attacks on abortion rights.
Was the deadliest year for protesters in Senegal. We met with the families of those who were killed, who shared with us their heartbreaking stories of grief and loss.
There remained no accountability for the thousands upon thousands of people killed in the war on drugs in the Philippines.
I was in Ukraine at the time. We had to respond the way we can. So I was conducting dozens and dozens of interviews with people who were stuck there.
As an advocacy advisor, my role has been convince policymakers that people and our rights should be the absolute priority and be reflected in the final text of the world's first binding law on artificial intelligence.
So while 2023 had indeed been a challenging year for human rights, it was also a time when we were able to show the world the veritable power of our collective action.
Some of our evidence can be used to push for arms embargo, to push for accountability and justice.
To ensure civilians are better protected and to ensure that those who are responsible for crimes and conflicts across the world are brought to justice.
For example, we were able to convince the Human Rights Council to investigate the ongoing violations in Sudan and preserve evidence for future accountability purposes.
We need people to support our actions to make sure that we can put pressure on authorities, government, and to ensure that they comply with their international obligations.
Amnesty International is committed to empower racialized people who have been harmed by migration policies and ensure that their voices are heard.
My hope for the future is that people will support us to continue to hold public authorities and corporations accountable.
We must continue to protect those who speak truth to power. Because we know that we can build a future of human rights, and we know that together we can win.
Maraming salamat, Prince. Human rights campaigns ang nagpapadala na pantay-pantay ang lahat. Pero paano naman tayo dito sa Pilipinas? Ano ang relevance ng deklarasyon sa atin? Narito ang ulat mula kay Ventura. Ventura.
Ang Pilipinas ay hindi pa pumipirma sa Safe School Declaration. Pero dapat natin itong bigyan ng halaga kasi education is a universal right. Protecting schools means protecting future, kasama ng mga future ng mga kabataan dito sa bansa. If we raise our voices, we can push leaders to act. Citizenship starts with awareness, pero tuloy-tuloy dapat sa responsibilities. Kung kaya ng mga estudyante sa UK na mag-push ng government nila, kaya rin natin dito. Imagine if the Philippine Science, it would send a strong message na we value education, we value children, and we value future. That's why we should care.
At yan po ang mga balita ngayong linggo para sa mas malaking misyon at mas malawak na paglilingkod sa bayan. Ako po si Lou Forix Calimbas at ito ang Group 5 News Report. Nakatutok kami, Group 5 News Report.